She faked a full-blown affair just to see if I'd finally crack. Emails, photos, hotel receipts, all planted, all fake, designed to break me. When I confronted her, heart shattered, hands shaking, she smiled. "Finally," she whispered. "You care." That smile felt like watching your house burn while someone claps. So I stood up, walked to the kitchen, and came back with a manila folder. I laid the divorce papers between us. Calm, cold, done. You wanted a reaction? Here it is. If you've ever been tested, manipulated, or pushed past your breaking point, hit subscribe, share this with a man who needs to hear it, and stay. This story is just getting started. Sun slides through the blinds like a quiet knife across fabric. Coffee steam, toast, the soft click of Emily's bracelet on the counter. She's bright about a new client, voice quick, eyes quicker. I say, "One day, kid stuff," half joking, half prayer. Her smile lands short of her eyes, then she checks her phone like it needs air more than she does. I rinse my mug and tell myself not to be dramatic. Married people coast sometimes. Coasting isn't crashing. A cardinal hits the glass. Thump, a red blur gone. Her laughter flickers, on, off, on. Phone lights face down, dims, lights again. "Client dinner tonight," she says, pecking my cheek, already elsewhere. "Okay," I answer, smoothing the water, not the ocean. I grab my keys. The house sounds too big. The fridge hums, the AC breathes, everything pretending to be fine. My hand is on the doorknob when her phone pings loud in the quiet. The screen flashes a preview before it fades. "Girls' night, we ride at 8. Don't chicken out." Names stack under it. Tessa, Brianna, Haley. The smile leaves her face faster than the kitchen light she just turned off. "Everything good?" I ask. She says, "Perfect." And for the first time, it doesn't feel like a promise. It sounds like a plan. I build guardrails for a living, senior software architect, fintech. My job is to stop things from failing loud. You map the edge cases, seal the cracks, anticipate the ways a system will lie to you. Code doesn't gossip, doesn't sulk. It breaks clean. You fix it clean. That's my language. The day hums. Tickets, commits, coffee, cooling to the color of old pennies. Coworkers call me solid. Family calls me dependable, a little dry. I'll take dry over drowning. On break, I scroll my camera roll. Birthdays, road trips, the stupid grin I wear when Emily steals my hat. Stability equals happiness, right? Bills paid, oil changed, calendars synced. At 5:12, I text, "Need anything for dinner?" 3 dots. Then the dots die. A minute later, "Might be late, girls' night." A winky face blinks like a hazard light. I pocket the phone, swallow the noise in my chest, and finish a pull request with hands that suddenly feel too careful. Drive home. Same route, same dog, same man waving. Garage air hits cool and clean. The smell of wood and oil says I'm safe here. I set my phone on the workbench. It buzzes again. "Change of plans. Hosting at our place. 8 sharp." I stare at the message. For once, the system warns before it fails. 8 sharp, like the text said. Doorbell, then laughter that moves through the house before the people do. Tessa first, heels, confidence, divorce like a medal she wears loud. Brianna behind her with that HR smile that says she knows everyone's motives. Haley last, quiet eyes, hands in her sleeves. Wine opens, candles go on. Stories get dragged out by the hair. Bad husbands, stale kisses, freedom like fireworks. "Girls' night," Emily says, brushing past me with glasses. They claim the couch, the kitchen, the air. I catch my face in the microwave door and look away. Their sentences come sharpened. Marriage kills romance. Men get lazy. You have to keep them guessing. They don't look at me so much as through me, like I'm a chair that squeaks. I do what men do, smile polite, disappear to the garage. Wood, oil, the small mercy of quiet. Through the door I hear their chorus, a podcast I didn't subscribe to. Tessa's laugh cuts. "Men only wake up when they're scared of losing you." A beat of silence after that line, like they all agreed to underline it. Footsteps in the hall. A knuckle on the garage door. Emily's voice, light as lint. "Babe, we'll be loud." I say, "Be louder." And in the silence that follows, something in me turns its head. Sofa. Empty wine stems on the table like thin bones. TV glow on the wall. Emily curls her legs under a throw and looks at me like a problem she's solving. "We lost the spark," she says, polite but loaded. I nod. "Let's do counseling." She laughs once. Quick, not cruel, just certain. "That's not the issue." I ask, "What is the issue?" She lands it soft. "You're flat. No excitement, no chase." I take that in. I tell her chase isn't love. Staying is. I say we can book a weekend, reset the rhythm, meet in the middle like grown-ups. She shakes her head, thumbs her phone, that little tick like she's petting a secret. "You don't get it," she says, looking nowhere. The room has more screen light than lamplight. The air tastes like old Cabernet and a new plan. I reach for her hand. She lets me take it, but her eyes stay on the lock screen. It flares to life. Faces in tiny circles, a notification sliding up. Tessa. "Tomorrow we start for real." For real what? The question hits me low, where men keep pride and panic. Emily pulls away gently, stands, stretches like a cat. "See?" she says, turning her back. And in the black glass of her phone, a man looks back. Not me. The night goes quiet except for thumbs on glass. Emily on the couch, blue light in her eyes, scrolling #relationship talk like it's a manual. I'm in the kitchen rinsing plates, hearing little bites of certainty float across the room. Loyalty test. How to make him chase. Fake an affair. Watch him wake up. The captions bark orders. The comments cheer. Brianna's voice pops from a FaceTime bubble, all confidence. "We did it. Worked like a charm." Tessa laughs the way a match laughs before it burns something. Haley says nothing, which is its own kind of yes. Dramatic irony is a fancy phrase. In plain English, the internet thinks it knows my marriage better than I do. Videos stack, scripted texts, staged photos, accidental screenshots. I hear the word jealousy like it's medicine instead of poison. Emily nods along, jaw set, as if she's agreeing to a contract only she can read. I dry my hands and lean in the doorway, a ghost in my own house. She doesn't see me, she sees a plan. A clip shouts, "Fake cheating isn't cheating, it's a wake-up call." My chest tightens. Not rage, something colder. Risk assessment, systems thinking. If this is where she's learning love, then failure isn't an accident. It's a feature. They giggle. The sound lands like a dare. I don't say a word. I start watching for tells. The tells come small, almost polite. Her phone starts living face down, like it's shy. When I walk in, she tilts the screen away with a motion so smooth it could be manners. Notifications bloom. She lets them fade like she's savoring the secret. A text lands. She bites the corner of her lip the way she used to bite my shoulder. I pretend not to see. Men my age are trained to swallow doubt until it stops kicking. The calendar grows teeth. Late night, client. Thursdays, now Tuesdays, now whenever. New perfume arrives, too sharp for her usual lane, something that smells like a hotel lobby at 11 p.m. I find the cap on the sink, still wet, like it was tested and approved. In the car, she hums to songs she never liked, sings words I don't recognize. People change, I know that. But change doesn't usually come with passcodes and silence. At dinner, she drops it clean. Mike at work is actually interesting. No sparkle, no guilt, just smooth. Like she practiced saying it neutral so I'd hear nothing. I nod, chew, taste metal. Inside, a drawer slides open and a file goes in. Mike, uppercase, red tab. She laughs at a text and excuses herself. I keep my eyes on the doorframe until she's gone. Then I say his name once, soft, just to hear how it feels in my mouth. Dinner is chicken and quiet. Forks, plates, the TV murmuring about weather we already know. I keep my voice casual. "So, what's Mike like?" Emily lifts her glass, covers a smile with Merlot. "He's funny," she says, "a little too smooth, like a line she practiced in the car. The stem clicks on the table. I nod, change the subject to traffic on I-77, office coffee, anything that isn't the pulse in my neck. Her phone buzzes, face down. She ignores it like a magician ignores a trapdoor. So deliberately it becomes the show. I take a breath that tastes like metal and start washing plates. In my head, sirens. On my phone, the Notes app opens by itself. Mic, flag. I close it. I've learned men my age don't win by flinching. You win by staying awake. Funny how? I ask, rinsing. She shrugs. Just witty. Good in the room. She swallows her wine and the rhythm slips. Half a beat late. A small stumble only a sober man hears. It lands like a penny in a well. She wipes a clean plate, already done with the conversation. Girls' night tomorrow, she says, soft as lint. Don't wait up. I smile. Wasn't planning to. Inside, a red tab slides onto a thicker file. Tomorrow, I stop pretending. Closet door size. A new box sits on the shelf. Matte black, thin ribbon, tissue like smoke. I don't go looking. It finds me. The tag dangles, price still on, a size she doesn't buy for sleep. No note, no joke, just the quiet of premeditation. I lift the lid and the air changes. Lace catches on my finger, cold and slick, a texture that remembers pressure. My chest tightens the way a belt does when you punch one extra hole. I put it back like it might bruise. No questions. That's the rule tonight. I pretend I didn't see it. Men who accuse too early lose the case. In our bed, the sheets hold her heat on one side and nothing on mine. The ceiling fan counts to 3 over and over. I stare at the door and wish it would open for the right reasons. Downstairs, the garage breathes me in. Wood, oil, the old radio that only knows country. I stand there with my hands on the workbench, palms cooling, heartbeat slowing, and I say it plain to the empty room. This isn't for me. The lace in my head tightens, like a noose. My phone buzzes on the bench. 8 sharp, at your place. At your... Wine glasses clink in my imagination. Soon the house won't be mine. 8 on the dot. Doorbell, chatter, perfume that doesn't belong to our walls. Tessa leads like she owns the lease. Heels first, opinions second. If he doesn't get jealous, she says, pouring red without asking, teach him to be scared. Brianna files in behind her, HR voice dressed up as wisdom. Men need lessons. Haley lingers, eyes soft, a sorry she won't say. Emily nods along, won't meet my eyes, busy with glasses, coasters, anything that isn't me. They colonize the couch, the kitchen, the playlist. My fridge opens and laughs like I told a joke. Stories spill. Ex-husbands, dead bedrooms, freedom like fireworks. Every sentence is a test I didn't sign up for. I stand at the edge of the rug like a doorman to my own life. The microwave door shows me a warped version of my face, and I look away. Tessa's voice slices from the living room. Men only wake up when they're afraid to lose you. Brianna claps. Haley flinches. Emily pretends she didn't hear it. I step toward the garage. The floorboards answer for me. We'll be loud, Emily says to the air. Be louder, I say back, calm as a locked safe. The door to the garage swings. It slams behind me, hard, final, and I'm left standing in my own house like a guest who stayed too long. The garage is dark and honest. I stretch out on the old couch, stare up at a ceiling that looks like a crash screen, blank, unhelpful, asking me to reboot. Somewhere upstairs, laughter thins, then thickens again. My heart keeps drummer hours. 3:17 a.m., double time in my chest. I breathe in oil and sawdust like medicine. Hold it, let it out slow. It barely takes the edge. Phone light on my face, I type what men Google when they're done pretending. No fault divorce, North Carolina. Clean break. No kids. Prenup. The words land with the weight of cold metal. I open a draft to a lawyer, subject consultation, and list the facts like bullet points I wish weren't mine. Then I just sit there with my thumb over send, the way you hover over a detonation switch you built yourself. I try the old tricks. Count the hums of the fridge, name 3 things I can hear, 2 I can touch, 1 I can forgive. The list stops at 1. Upstairs, a chair scrapes, a cork pops, Someone laughs too hard at something that isn't funny. I kill the screen, but my head keeps glowing. The cursor blinks at send, steady, patient, merciless, like a heartbeat that refuses to lie for me anymore. Morning mail and a mistake. A folded slip tucked inside a takeout menu like it hitchhiked into our house. I flatten it on the counter. Uptown Marriott, room, 2 nights. The line item hits like a hammer. Mike and Lisa. Date, last weekend, when Emily said client dinner, don't wait up. My thumb leaves a grease shine on the paper. My hand won't stop shaking. In the kitchen, she's whistling something careless. Spoon hits ceramic, like this is Tuesday and we're fine. I slide the receipt half under a magazine, stare through it as if lighter eyes might make the letters change. They don't. I try to reason it down. Wrong Mike, wrong Lisa, wrong house. The logic fails the way a weak beam fails. Quiet first, then loud in your gut. I fold it twice, then once more. Crisp corners, soldier neat. The paper feels warm, like it's been in someone else's pocket. She says she'll be late again. I nod like a man in a waiting room. When she turns, I slip the receipt into my wallet behind my driver's license, where truth goes when you can't say it yet. The name Mike doesn't read. It brands. I close my wallet. Inside my head, the case file moves to the front. But here's what I didn't know yet. The worst pain wasn't that she betrayed me. It was that she wanted me to find out. Not by accident. By design. The next message proved it. I try plain English. You good? I ask over coffee. Emily smiles like customer service. Don't overthink. I say I'd like a reset. Friday. Steak. The good place. Real conversation. No phones. She kisses my cheek, says yes, says she'll put it on the calendar. A small breath returns to my lungs, the kind men hold and don't brag about. By noon she texts. Client called. Rain check. I reread it until the words blur and mean nothing. That night the house is quiet except for her phone, lighting up, going dark, lighting up. I try one more normal move, swap the Friday reservation to Saturday. She answers faster this time. Pitch due, can't. I type, no worries and don't send it. A grown man shouldn't have to beg his wife to meet him halfway. I open notes, add a line, flag, canceled twice. Another line, Lisa? I don't write receipt, but the wallet burns like it knows. Her calendar looks wide open to me, until it isn't. Time appears for everything but us. She laughs at something on her screen and tilts it away, polite as a closed door. I kill my own hope before it embarrasses me. Next step isn't dinner, it's evidence. I hit the gym because evidence needs a steady hand. Treadmill, water, locker room glare. I catch myself in the mirror and the truth stares back, eyes ringed like a late shift parking lot, jaw tight enough to crack a tooth. The wallet in my bag feels heavier than iron. Paper shouldn't weigh like that. My phone buzzes. Working late again. 2 words that turn the lights down in a man. I type, okay, then erase it, then send it anyway. Some habits are just fences we lean on. I study the stranger in the glass. He looks like a guy who keeps promises even when nobody else does. He looks like a man who could fix almost anything, except what's his. Behind him, TVs flash scores and ads, but none of them show a version of me I recognize. I turn sideways, then back, and the stranger is still there. It hits me. I've been busy protecting a house while something eats the foundation. I swallow hard, like I'm pushing a stone past my throat. Enough asking. Enough maybe. No more dates to reschedule, no more polite nods into a lie. From here on out, facts. I dry my face with a thin towel that doesn't forgive sweat or excuses. I don't know the man in the mirror, but I know what he needs to do next. Back home, the place is quiet enough to hear dust land. The shared iPad sits on the table, screen asleep, a harmless white slab. I grab it to check flight options. Logan wants to visit, says I need air. The screen wakes and hands me what I wasn't asking for. Mail, already open. A subject line parked at the top like a snake on a warm rock. About last night. I stare at it long enough to feel stupid, then tell myself it's a receipt or a calendar recap. I tap. The scroll begins slow, like a bad dream finding its shape. Words hit first. Breathless, graphic, time-stamped to the weekend she worked late. The body heat in those sentences isn't mine. Photos load one by one, nothing explicit enough for HR, everything explicit enough for a husband. My vision tunnels. All the air in the room moves to the edges and stays there. Paragraph by paragraph, the night I didn't live unfolds. She loved the pressure, the laughter, the hotel sheets. He loved that she wore black. It's clinical and filthy all at once, like reading lab notes on my own autopsy. My thumb freezes on the glass. There's a long, empty drop inside me. My heart doesn't sink. It falls straight through. The words don't warm up. They hit cold. A play-by-play of a hotel night written like a victory lap. Who picked the room, what they ordered, how the sheets felt. The photos open slow. 2 sets of legs tanged in white linen, a wristwatch I don't own, a lamp I recognize from Uptown Marriott. The angle is careful, just shy of explicit, designed to stab without leaving fingerprints. Mike writes like he's tagging a wall, short, cocky lines that mark territory. He names what she liked, how she laughed, the exact time she said yes. He says black looks dangerous on her. He says she tasted like cherries. The punctuation is intimate, like he knows her breathing. I freeze, jaw locked, knuckles white on glass. The iPad turns my palm into a mirror. Blue light, no mercy. My world shrinks to a rectangle, letters, pixels, proof. The room behind me disappears. The house, the street, the life I built, gone behind a frame I can't crawl out of. I scroll because men scroll. We chase the bottom even when it's a cliff. Then the sentence that empties my lungs. Can't wait to do it again. I don't cry. I calcify. Somewhere in me, a switch flips from husband to witness. I go to work because habit can drag a body where willpower can't. I move like a ghost in daylight. Emails sent, words said, none of it landing. Coffee goes cold. I drink water because food feels like a dare. Coworkers speak from another room, even when they're right there. The world sounds padded, traffic muffled, keyboards far away, laughter like it's under a blanket. Every spare second I replay lines I didn't live. I hear the cadence, see the smudges, map the times to her calendar. Noon becomes 6, becomes midnight, and I'm still inside those sentences. On my drive home, I don't remember the lights changing green. I only remember my hands not shaking enough to save me. Night. House quiet. I open the photo folder like a man opening a wound to clean it. Tap, hold, screenshot. Again. Every email, every timestamp, every accidental picture. I label them plain. Uptown 1, Uptown 2, email Mike. Cold names for hot knives. I back them up, twice. No drama, just evidence. The way you bag items at a crime scene and don't argue with the facts. When it's done, the clock says 2:41. My eyes burn, my jaw aches. I save the last file and whisper to no one, for the lawyer. Uptown, 9th floor. Glass, steel, quiet carpets that swallow footsteps. Craig Dawley shakes my hand once and lets go fast. Professional mercy. His office is clean enough to perform surgery in. He glances at my folder like he's seen 1,000 of them and none of them surprised him. I lay out the facts. He nods through each one. Emails, photos, dates, the hotel. He asks about kids. None. Then the prenup. Solid. He says the words like a mechanic. No kids, no fault. Clean break. He explains the lanes, property, accounts, timelines. No gloating, no pity, just routes out of a burning building. I answer in sentences that feel like forms. He doesn't ask me how I'm sleeping. Good lawyers don't ask questions they can't use. He slides a manila folder across the desk. Papers, tabs, a pen with weight. The kind of pen reserved for signatures that change lives. Take your time, he says. Time's a joke in this chair. I skim what I can before the letters start swimming. My eyes burn. I blink hard. Across the glass behind him, the city moves. People going about their day like gravity isn't heavier for some of us. I lower the pen until it kisses the first line. Boundary drawn. Process engaged. Some things you fix. Some things you file. Back home, I keep it simple. One suitcase on the bed, open like a mouth that won't argue. Socks, shirts, the jeans I trust. A toothbrush, charger, the watch my dad left me. I move steady because steady is the only thing I have left. In the dresser, our wedding photo stares too hard, so I flip it face down. The frame thumps the wood like a small heart quitting. Logan texts, "Need anything? Call me." I type, "I'm good," and don't send it. I grab a duffel for what won't fit. Papers, the folder Craig gave me, my passport, though I'm not going anywhere. In the kitchen, I leave the spare key on the counter, center of the granite, like evidence even a stranger would understand. The house listens. Houses know more than they say. I text Emily, "Talk tonight?" The dots pulse. Yes. That word used to mean relief. Now it means execution time. I zip the suitcase slow, teeth catching, fabric pulling, small resistance, then surrender. The sound fills the room and empties it. I lift the handle and everything I didn't pack gets heavier. The lid shuts, clean, final. The soft sound a man hears when a chapter closes itself. I breathe once, deep. Tonight, we sit at the table and name what this is. We sit at the dining table like it's a bench and I'm calling the case. Plates pushed aside, silverware lined up like evidence. I keep my voice even, the way a man does when he's already bled out. "I read the emails," I say. Emily leans back, shoulders dropping, a smile easing across her face like relief found a chair. Relief. I don't understand relief. I wait for the apology, the story, the tear that admits gravity. Instead, she studies me the way a doctor waits for a reflex. I hear the clock tick like a metronome for bad news. "Do you have anything to say?" I ask. My hands are flat on the wood. I don't trust them to move. She tilts her head, searching my face for heat. "You're emotional," she says softly, almost pleased. There you are. The room tilts. Her eyes shine like she just solved a problem. The kind of shine you save for promotions, not funerals. Something old and hard stands up in me. I repeat myself, slower. "I read the emails." She nods, smile widening, as if I've finally spoken the password. "Finally," she says, voice warm with victory. "You're jealous." The word doesn't land. It detonates. And the trial I thought I was in flips into theater I never bought tickets for. She leans forward, elbows on the table, excited now, like we're planning a vacation and not counting casualties. "There's no mic," she says. "Not really." A laugh escapes, small, proud. The emails were staged, the photos were doctored, the hotel, borrowed receipts. I needed you to wake up. I stare. She fills the silence like a presenter with slides. "Tessa said it works. Brianna too. It's a loyalty test. You were so flat, Garrett. I missed the chase. This..." She gestures between us, at my jaw, my breathing, my fists I'm trying to unfurl. "This is proof you still care." Proof. There's a word that has done enough damage in this house. She lists the steps like a project manager. Fake texts, curated angles, timing, bait. She's proud of the craft, the engineering of my pain. My mouth is dry. My head hums. I hear my heartbeat through the table. "It's not cheating," she insists. "It's strategy, a reset. People do it all the time." She smiles as if we've reached the smart part, the lesson. I did it for us. The steam leaves my chest and comes back ice cold. I hear one word surfacing through the noise, bright as a siren. "Prank," she says. I don't breathe. I refuse. Because calling it a prank is trying to dress a knife in confetti. I keep my voice flat so the words cut clean. "Did you watch me hurt these last 2 weeks?" She blinks, surprised I aimed that low. "I needed to see you react." There it is, a theory dressed like love. "You don't chase me anymore," she adds, softer, like that makes it tender. I look at the sink, plates stacked, lipstick on a rim, a fork half submerged. The little messes you ignore until they become the house. I almost laugh. Not loud. The kind of laugh a man lets out when he finally understands the math. You wanted fire, I say. You poured gasoline and handed me the match. She opens her mouth. I raise a hand. No more lectures dressed as apologies. This isn't love, I tell her. Love doesn't run experiments on the person it swears to protect. Her face tightens. Garrett, you're being dramatic. No, I say. I'm being honest. The room shifts. Something invisible splits. The tick of the clock sounds sharp, like glass starting to crack from the center. She reaches for my forearm, rehearsed softness, a touch I used to live for. Don't, I say, stepping back. Save the performance. Silence drops hard between us. Truth sits down. We both hear it. And the air in our house fractures like a window hit by a stone. I slide the manila folder from my chair to the table. No hurry, no speech, just the quiet tap of weight meeting wood. She watches, confused, then curious, then afraid. I open it, pull the stack free, set it in front of her. The word divorce doesn't shout. It doesn't need to. Her smile dies like someone pulled the plug. Color drains, eyes glass. Garrett, wait. I don't. I point where Craig placed the tab. Her hands hover, unsure whether to touch the paper or fly to her mouth. She chooses neither. You said you wanted a reaction, I say. Here it is. Tessa and TikTok can't coach this part. She starts with the script. It was a joke. I'm sorry. It wasn't real. Strings of soft rope that don't hold anything. I let every word fall to the floor and stay there. My pulse is steady for the first time in weeks. The house hears it. I hear it. This is happening, I tell her, with or without your signature. Her head jerks up. You can't just... I can, I say, and I am. Power doesn't need volume. It needs line and follow-through. I stand. The chair legs whisper across the floor like a closing door. Sign or don't, I add, calm as winter. I'm leaving either way. And the boundary I drew becomes the ground I stand on. She breaks fast, palms open, voice shaking. I was trying to save us. I was scared of losing you. My friend said men only understand when it hurts. The words come wet and quick, like she's bailing a boat that's already under. I look past her to the wedding photo on the shelf, our smiles trapped under glass, still believing in easy fixes. I shake my head. You didn't save anything. You taught me where the exits are. She reaches for my sleeve. I keep my hands on the table. Garrett, I misread it. It was a mistake. A stupid... She hunts for a word that shrinks the damage. Listen to me, I say, slow enough to land. In my world, when a system corrupts, you don't patch over rot. You rebuild or you shut it down. She bites her lip, nods too fast, like agreement can rewind tape. We can repair it, she whispers. I'll do therapy. I'll delete everything. No. The sound is small, final. This isn't a hot fix. Her face collapses, and I let it. Trust, I say, pointing at the papers, at the air, at us. Doesn't get a patch. The word trust drops between us, heavy, metallic, and the room hears it hit the floor. I stand. I tell her I'm leaving tonight, and the door of our house remembers how to open. The shop smells like oil, brake dust, and a kind of honesty I haven't breathed in weeks. Ratchets click. An air hose hisses. Logan wipes his hands on a red rag and looks me over once, like a mechanic diagnosing more than a car. You did the right thing, he says. No sermon. No questions that make a man repeat pain. I toss my suitcase on a cot in the back room. Thin mattress, clean sheet, a blanket that doesn't try to be anything it isn't. There's a mini fridge humming next to a stack of tires. He hands me a cold beer. We stand under the fluorescent buzz and let the silence do the heavy lifting. You staying as long as you need, he adds, already turning back to a Chevy with its heart on the table. I nod. Words feel expensive and the budget's tight. We crack the cans. The pop from the tab sounds like a small future opening. We talk in short lines. Lawyer, prenup, next steps. He grunts approval in the places a brother should. "Call me if your head gets loud," he says, tossing me a spare key with a chipped skull on it. I pocket it, feel the weight settle. My phone vibrates. A paragraph from Emily I don't read. I slide the screen face down, breathe deep, and for the first time in days, the night doesn't argue with me. Word travels the lazy way, screens and cousins. Her aunt calls me cold, like being calm is a crime. A cousin piles on with verses about forgiveness she never had to live. Mutual friends text in the group, overreacting, she didn't actually cheat, work it out. It's amazing how many spectators show up once the game is bloody. I mute the thread, then mute the relatives, then mute the urge to explain myself to people who wouldn't pay the bill if I stayed. Craig's appointment stays on my calendar like a spine. I forward him the files, timestamps, screenshots, the neat, ugly truth. He replies received with the relief of a man who prefers facts. Logan checks on me. I answer short. I eat something beige, drink water, walk the shop floor until the worry sweats out. Somewhere after midnight, the noise in my head thins. I lie down on the cot and the dark doesn't argue. 4 hours, straight. My body remembers how. No jolts, no ghost alarms, no images burned into the back of my eyes. The 6:30 a.m. alarm chirps, and, for the first time in weeks, it's not the enemy. I sit up, breathe slow, and let the morning keep its promise. Phone lights, more opinions. I let them stack. My side of the street is clean. Today, I only answer to what's real. Haley pings first. "I'm sorry, we went too far." No excuses, no emoji. It lands like a small, true thing in a room full of plastic. A minute later, Tessa sends a TikTok, her voice over stock music, teaching strangers how to loyalty test a husband. She calls it strategy. She calls pain a tool. Comments cheer. I watch once, then never again. Brianna tops it off with an essay. "Men need a jolt. You prove the point by reacting. Now build from there." She uses words like reset, wake-up call, modern love. The paragraphs sweat condescension. I don't debate. I read to the end, let my thumb hover, and hit block. Not angry, surgical. A boundary isn't an argument, it's a doorframe. Haley writes again. "If you need me to tell you what I saw, I will. I type scene, that's all. Because I don't need her testimony for court. I need it for my own sanity. The pattern is the point. Advice packaged as empowerment, cruelty wrapped in self-help, a chorus that thinks your marriage is content." The shop radio murmurs baseball. Logan hands me a coffee and nods like a man who's been a brother his whole life. I sip and let the heat settle. Phone buzzes. Emily. "Can we meet? Just talk." I stare at the screen. Some truths you read, some you hear. Local cafe, windows fogged, sky the color of old steel. I get there early and pick a table that faces the door. When Emily walks in, she's smaller than I remember. Shoulders tight, eyes careful. No makeup that says I'm fine. She sits, wraps both hands around the cup like it's heat she doesn't deserve. "I'm sorry," she says. Not the slippery kind, the kind that lands and stays. She tells me she started seeing Melissa Daniels, a therapist who doesn't let her hide. Says she's cut off Tessa and Brianna, blocked numbers, scraped the poison out of her day. I listen. I don't rush to fill silences. Men always pay interest on words they don't owe. She explains the echo chamber, the videos, the late-night courage that made stupid sounds smart. "I didn't realize how far I'd gone," she says. "I wanted a spark. I made a fire." The cafe hums around us. Milk steam, a bell, the soft grammar of strangers. She reaches for my wrist, then thinks better of it. "Good." "I know I broke it," she says. "I'm not asking you to fix me. I just needed you to hear me own it." I nod once. That's all I have, no promises. No future tense. Just a man finishing his coffee. "I heard you," I say, and I let the cup cool in my hands until the heat is gone. I set the cup down and give her what she came for, truth without decoration. "You didn't sleep with anyone," I say, "but you built pain and fed it to me on purpose." Her chin trembles. Mine doesn't. "You watched me unravel and called it proof." I point to my chest. "That isn't love. That's control. She tries to answer, coughs on a sob, shakes her head like she wants the sound out. I keep going because clarity is mercy. You selected the angle, timed the messages, edited the photos. You engineered my worst nights and waited for fireworks. I lean back, let the chair take my weight. You weren't testing loyalty. You were managing outcomes. She whispers, I thought it would wake you up. I meet her eyes and hold. I was awake. You just didn't like that I wasn't sprinting. The room narrows to her face and the sentence I've carried here like a stone. You say you love me, I tell her, but what you really loved was power, dressed up as romance. The words land between us like a tool dropped on concrete, sharp, loud, final. She folds into herself. I don't move to help, not cruel, correct. Some lessons are supposed to hurt. I push the cup aside and stand. Take care, I say. Outside, the air is cold and clean enough to keep. Uptown Tower, frosted glass, polite carpet, a conference room named after a tree. I sit in the parking lot with the engine off, breathing even. Upstairs, they're mid-meeting. Deck on the screen, Emily and her manager voice. Then the door opens and a stranger steps in, neutral suit, neutral eyes, a job to do. He says her name, sets a manila envelope on the table like a weight that knows where to land. The room freezes. Someone coughs into a fist. Emily reaches, tries to make the paper smaller with her hands. It doesn't cooperate. A ripple of internal emails begins. Unexpected disruption. Then the subject line changes, then the thread multiplies. That's how offices pray. My phone buzzes. A single text from the server. She got served. 3 words that ring like a bell at the end of a fight. No cheer, no victory dance. Just a clock striking the hour we both heard coming. I don't go in. I don't gloat. Power doesn't always arrive loud. Sometimes it sits in the driver's seat and exhales. I watch a flock of birds reorganize over a parking deck and think about all the ways people circle what's ending. Another buzz. Not the server. A link. A clip. And I understand this isn't over. It's going online. The clip is 29 seconds of humiliation with music. Blurred faces, captions shouting loyalty test like a brand name, and a voiceover that sells pain as strategy. My jaw is blocked out, but I know the shirt, the kitchen tile, the way my shoulders go square when I'm swallowing a storm. Comments crawl. Girl boss. Wake him up. OMG, he's shook. It takes a special kind of cruelty to turn a marriage into content. I forward the link to Craig with the files I saved. He replies in minutes, on it, and I believe him. The takedown hits by afternoon. The post disappears, then reappears reposted, then disappears again. That's the thing about the internet. Ashes have a way of looking like sparks. Meanwhile, my phone fills with pings I didn't ask for. Coworkers who accidentally saw, numbers I don't recognize, a childhood friend who writes you good, man. I hit report, because that's the button they give you. The shame doesn't move. It sits on my chest through dinner, rides shotgun on the way back to the shop, stares at me in the bathroom mirror like it lives here now. I decide something simple and hard. I won't live inside other people's edits. I turn the phone face down. The noise keeps talking, but it doesn't get to write me anymore. Unknown number. Calm female voice. This is Karen Halpern. A pause, then the swing. Mike is my husband. My stomach braces, then she keeps going. He didn't email your wife. He doesn't know her. Someone used his name, probably because he's in our company directory. I saw the clip. I tracked you down. I'm furious for you. She lays out proof like a clean table. His travel logs, his inbox audits, the weekend he spent at his brother's with 3 kids and a busted grill. Mike is real. The story they hung on him isn't. His name got borrowed to make the lie look expensive. She offers a statement, HR contacts, whatever I need. I thank her. I mean it. The call clicks off and the air tastes less like smoke. I sit with it. Another mask pulled. Another wire exposed. The pain doesn't leave, but it loses a head. I open my notes and type, Mike = cover, not culprit. The file on my marriage reorganizes itself. Cleaner lines, fewer shadows. Lies stack. So does clarity. For the first time, my pulse slows without permission. They built a fake man to sell me a fake night. Now I know it. That layer peels, and the rot shows. Melissa's office is soft but not sentimental. Chairs that don't coddle, a clock that doesn't judge. She listens like a trade. I give her the story straight. The emails, the test, the crowd, the serve. She takes it in and names things precisely. Depression can make a person suggestible, she says. But context explains. It does not excuse. You are not obligated to reconcile with harm. We talk boundaries like they're seatbelts, not suggestions. She sketches dynamics on a pad. Control dressed as romance, echo chamber courage, the way humiliation scales online. When a partner engineers distress to provoke attachment, she says, that's not intimacy, that's manipulation. I nod because the words fit the wounds. I tell her we've been together a decade. She doesn't blink. Sunk cost fallacy, she says. 10 years gone doesn't mean 10 more owed. Time spent isn't a contract. The sentence lands like a brick in my pocket, heavy, useful. She asks what I want, not what they want, not what a comment section cheers for. Me. I write in my notebook, 10 years isn't a reason for 10 more. Then another word beneath it, boundaries. I drag the pen under it hard enough to dent the page. When I leave, the street feels level. I don't owe the past anything it can't pay back. I drive to my mother's without calling first. She opens the door like she was already standing there. One look, no questions, no quiz, and she steps aside. The house smells like Sunday. Roast, soap, a life that didn't lose its footing. She studies my face the way only a mother can and says what matters in one clean line. Son, don't let your kindness get used up by the wrong hands. Something in my shoulders drops. I nod, sit at the old table where school projects and overdue bills once fought for space. She puts a plate in front of me and doesn't hover. We eat slow. The TV mutters weather and baseball. Forks clink. The silence is good, thick with safety instead of secrets. When she reaches across and squeezes my hand, I feel 11 years old and 43 at the same time. Your father would be proud you're standing up for yourself, she says, eyes steady. I swallow, hard. The roast is perfect. So is the permission to be tired. For the first time in weeks, laughter reaches my mouth and doesn't turn around. When I stand to leave, she pulls me in. The hug lands like a blessing, heavy and warm. It says what speeches can't. You're still loved. Keep going. The envelope waits on the shop desk, my name in her careful handwriting. I open it because endings deserve to be read. I take responsibility, it begins. No excuses. She lists what I already know and what she wants me to know. She's cut off Tessa and Brianna. She's in therapy, really in it, with Melissa. She's learning the difference between fear and love, control and care. I was wrong from the root, she writes. I was terrified of losing you, so I built a machine that guaranteed it. She owns the steps, the edits, the bait. No blame shifting, no soft focus. She thanks me, this knocks me sideways, for stopping the damage before we burned through our future completely. You didn't abandon me, the last line says. You protected yourself. You taught me a boundary by honoring your own. I stand there a long time with paper in my hand and quiet in my chest. Then I fold the letter along its seams and slide it into the drawer where good endings go, the kind that aren't happy, but are true. Closure doesn't clap, it clicks. I lock the drawer. My phone buzzes with tomorrow's appointments, Craig, then my therapist. For once, the next step isn't about fixing us, it's about finishing me. I put my own name on a calendar for once. Therapy at 3 p.m., a chair that doesn't judge, a box of tissues that doesn't make a man weak just for touching it. I tell her about the garage, the couch that remembers my shape, the nights the clock watched me drown. I tell her how silence got teeth. She teaches me 4-7-8. In for 4, hold for 7, out for 8. Feels stupid for the first 2 rounds, then it feels like opening a window in a burning room. We go again. She says to name the things that have been punching from the dark. Anger, sadness, regret, Saying them doesn't make me smaller, it makes the room bigger. We talk about the rule book I grew up with, how men keep it together until together breaks them. She says pain is data, not a defect. I write that down, underline it. She asks what I do with code when it crashes. I read the log, I say. Then I fix what failed. She nods. Start with breath. We run the count again. 4, 7, 8. My ribs loosen like a stuck jar lid finally turning. I'm not okay, and I admit it out loud. The ceiling doesn't fall. For the first time, my breath reaches the bottom of my lungs. And I don't apologize for needing air. I make a list because lists tell the truth when feelings won't. Lost. 10 years of mixed tape, good songs, skipped tracks. Gained. My self-respect checking back in like it never left. Lost. A house that knew my footsteps by heart. Gained. Sleep that shows up without a fight. I keep going. Lost. The version of her I kept protecting. Gained. The version of me that protects me. Lost. Plans pinned to a calendar that pretended to care. Gained. Mornings that don't start with a lie. It evens out in a way math teachers would approve and poets would hate. Not pretty, but balanced. I drive the long loop before sunrise, windows cracked, the city stretching itself awake. Uptown glass catches early light. The stadium sits quiet. A jogger waves like I'm a regular in a life I'm just starting. I pull over on a small rise where Charlotte lays itself out honest and wide. The air carries cut grass and bakery heat. For once the day doesn't ask me to perform. It just offers itself. No script, no edits, no tests. I breathe, slow and deep, and the ledger inside me stops twitching. I watch a Charlotte sunrise, beautiful because it doesn't lie, and I know I chose right. Back to Craig's, 9th floor, the city moving like it always does when yours won't. We go line by line, accounts, car, furniture. The prenup does what it was built to do, remove the gasoline from the fire. No kids, no contest, no speeches. Craig slides fresh pages across the desk. I initial, sign, date. Clean handwriting for a dirty job. We talk sale of the house, list it, close fast, cut the knots instead of picking at them. No retaliation, I say. He nods, already wrote it that way. He's not here to make me feel better. He's here to make it stick. I respect that. We finalize timelines, confirm notices, schedule the serve on the title company. The process is a quiet machine, and for once, the machine is on my side. At the end, Craig reaches for a stamp the color of stop signs and blood. He presses it down, firm, exact, and the red seal hits the page with a sound I'll remember longer than wedding vows. Not triumphant, terminal. I text Emily from the elevator. Thank you for cooperating. Nothing more. No bait for a new fight. The doors open to uptown hum, coffee, traffic, the ordinary life of strangers. I step out lighter than I came in. The past doesn't chase me down the hall. It's filed. Conference room, neutral walls, water pitcher sweating on a tray. We take the same seats we once used for budgets and vacation plans. Lawyers on standby, pens asleep. No tears, no reach across the table. We are two people finishing paperwork on a house that used to be a home. She looks tired in a human way, not a strategic one. I hope you find peace, she says, voice steady. I nod. I hope you do too. We sit with it. No edits, no replays. There's a kindness left that isn't permission and isn't an invitation, just respect. We pass the final documents back to Craig. He checks, clicks the folder shut, and the room exhales. I stand first. My hand is still, not brave still, finished still. She rises, gives a small, true smile I haven't seen since before the noise. We don't hug. We don't promise to stay friends. We've already given each other enough to carry. At the door, we trade the only lines that matter. Be well, she says. Be safe, I answer. The latch catches. The corridor feels wider than it did an hour ago. I walk toward the elevator and don't look back. In the glass, I catch my reflection. Face level, eyes clear. For once, my hand doesn't shake. Here's what I learned the hard way, so you don't have to audition for your own life. Pranks don't save marriages. they kill trust. Once you make pain the tool, love becomes the target. And love isn't a test. If someone needs to break you to prove you care, they don't want closeness. They want control. I'm not here to demonize anyone. I'm here to draw a line men forget they're allowed to draw. When your mind starts drowning, choose yourself. Therapy counts. Boundaries count. Silence, when it protects your sanity, counts. 10 years lived doesn't owe 10 more. Time spent is not a contract. I'm leaving this chapter with 3 things I didn't have when it started. Respect for myself, a boundary I'll keep, and sleep that shows up. The house can be sold, the papers filed, the post deleted, but the quiet I earned stays. If you've been tested, gaslit, or pushed to perform for love, speak up below. Tell me your line in the sand. Share this with a man who needs to hear it, and hit subscribe if you want more stories told straight, without the noise. I'm not here to make pain pretty. I'm here to make choices clear. Love without respect is performance. I won't perform.